Another day, another story. Severe storms and flooding have recently devastated Kentucky, resulting in at least 8 fatalities, including a mother and her 7-year-old child who were swept away by floodwaters in Hart County. Governor Andy Beshear described this as one of the most serious weather events in the past decade, with rescue operations ongoing. The storm caused historic flooding, delivering approximately 6 inches of rain and leaving about 39,000 homes without power. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. Additional fatalities were reported in Pike and Washington counties, and the death toll may rise as search efforts continue. Governor Beshear has declared a state of emergency, and President Trump has approved a federal disaster declaration to facilitate relief efforts. Residents are advised to avoid flooded roadways and remain vigilant as rescue operations proceed. The National Weather Service has issued severe weather alerts, including a flood warning in effect until 4:30 p.m. EST on Monday, February 17, 2025. Flooding caused by excessive rainfall is expected to impact rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying areas. Numerous roads remain closed due to flooding, and residents in affected areas are urged to exercise caution and avoid driving through flooded roads. In addition to the immediate dangers posed by flooding, a surge of Arctic air is expected to bring frigid temperatures across the region. The Midwest and parts of the Central Plains will experience highs in the teens and 20s, while the East Coast anticipates intense cold into the following week. Residents should prepare for potentially life-threatening cold and take necessary precautions to stay warm and safe. Emergency crews are actively responding to the crisis, conducting hundreds of rescues and assisting those affected by the flooding. The community is urged to stay informed through official channels and adhere to safety guidelines to mitigate further risks during this challenging time. Among the deaths were a mother and her 7-year-old child, according to local news station WBKO-TV and the Associated Press. Authorities said the pair were killed when the car they were in was carried away by floodwaters in Hart County. The AP reported that Hart County Coroner Tony Roberts confirmed the mother and child were swept away on the night of Saturday, February 15th, in the rural, unincorporated community of Bonneville. "I'm heartbroken to share we've lost at least 8 people to this storm, each one a child of God who is loved by so many. Please join Brittany and me as we pray for these families," Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear wrote in a social media statement on Sunday, February 16, referencing himself and his wife. And remember, the severe weather continues. Another who died in the storm includes a 73-year-old man in southeastern Kentucky, who was found dead in floodwaters in Clay County, County Emergency Management Deputy Director Ravel Berry told the AP. Governor Beshear said at a press conference on February 16 that 2 adults and 1 child were killed in Hart County, along with 2 adults in Pike County and 1 adult in Washington County, WBKO-TV reported. The politician also told CNN in an interview that the death count may still rise, and the AP reported on February 16 that a 9th person had been reported dead. Beshear also said during his press conference that rescue operations were underway around the state, and many of them involved rescuing people stranded in flooded areas, per the AP. According to CNN, more than 1,000 rescue operations have been performed in the past day, and Beshear described the storm as one of the most serious weather events we've dealt with in at least a decade. The storm, which passed through Kentucky early on February 15 and gained momentum as the day went on, per CNN, caused historic levels of flooding and about 6 inches of rain. The AP also reported that power was knocked out for about 39,000 homes. Beshear warned during the press conference that harsh winds in some areas could increase outages, per the AP. The governor declared a state of emergency in Kentucky ahead of the storm on February 14. Beshear later thanked President Donald Trump in a social media post on February 16 for approving a federal disaster declaration, which will make federal funding available to impacted areas of the state. Kentucky Emergency Management Director Eric Gibson told CNN on February 16 that the severe weather event would probably continue for several more days. Beshear has since urged Kentucky residents to stay off flooded roadways. The AP also reported that power was knocked out for about 39,000 homes. This is the search and rescue phase, and I am very proud of all the Kentuckians that are out there responding, putting their lives on the line. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said Sunday that hundreds of people stranded by flooding had to be rescued. President Donald Trump approved the state's request for a disaster declaration, authorizing the Federal Emergency Management Agency to coordinate relief efforts throughout the state. Beshear said most of the deaths, including a mother and 7-year-old child, were caused by cars getting stuck in high water. So folks, stay off the roads right now and stay alive, he said. This is the search and rescue phase, and I am very proud of all the Kentuckians that are out there responding, putting their lives on the line. Beshear said there have been 1,000 rescues across the state since the storms began Saturday. The storms knocked out power to about 39,000 homes, but Beshear warned that harsh winds in some areas could increase outages. Parts of Kentucky and Tennessee received up to 6 inches, 15 centimeters, of rain, said Bob Orovic, a senior forecaster at the National Weather Service. The effects will continue for a while, a lot of swollen streams and a lot of flooding going on, Orovic said Sunday. In Alabama, the Weather Service in Birmingham said it had confirmed an EF1 tornado touched down overnight in Hale County. Storms there and elsewhere in the state destroyed or damaged a handful of mobile homes, downed trees and toppled power lines, but no injuries were immediately reported. Extensive damage to downtown roofs and buildings was reported in the northern city of Tuscumbia, with authorities asking people to avoid the area, according to WAFF TV and other local media. A state of emergency was declared for parts of Obion County, Tennessee, after a levee failed on Saturday, flooding the small community of Rives, home to around 300 people in the western part of the state. There will be mandatory evacuations in effect for the residents in Rives due to the rising water, no electricity, and freezing temperatures creating a life-threatening situation, Mayor Steve Carr said in a statement Sunday. In Atlanta, a person was killed when a large tree fell on her home early Sunday, according to Atlanta Fire Rescue Captain. Dangerously cold wind chill temperatures as low as 50 degrees below zero, -45.6, were expected in most of North Dakota, which remained under an extreme cold warning along with parts of Montana and large swaths of South Dakota and Minnesota, according to the National Weather Service. Kentucky faces severe flooding. Water submerged cars and buildings in Kentucky and mudslides blocked roads in Virginia late Saturday into Sunday. Both states were under flood warnings, along with Tennessee and Arkansas. The mother and child were swept away Saturday night in Kentucky's Bonneville community, Hart County Coroner Tony Roberts said. In southeastern Kentucky, a 73-year-old man was found dead in floodwaters in Clay County, County Emergency Management Deputy Director Ravel Berry said. Avalanche warnings were issued for numerous areas of the Rocky Mountains stretching from Colorado to Washington state, with the danger rated highest in Utah. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.